All right, I'm doing something a little bit different today. I'm hoping this is focused on me. Otherwise, that would be the worst thing ever. It's not very focused. I think it's got me. So, as you can see, I am not in my usual space. That is because this is my brand new office. Very much set up exactly how it's going to be forever. I'm not having a desk. I'm just joking. Of course I'm having a desk. This is just me recording a little bit early. We haven't technically been, it's not technically our house yet, but it is in that middle ground. We're kind of in stages of moving a couple things in. I put this plant in just so it feels slightly more homely for you. But I'm here because I wanted to do a more personal episode. Obviously, if you're listening on the podcast, you won't understand that I am in a new room, but maybe it'll sound slightly different. Got some paneling up on the wall that's my sound stuff, although this isn't my normal mic either. Anyway, I am rambling. I wanted to give you a bit of a personal update today. I haven't done many personal shares for a long time properly on the podcast, so I wanted to take the chance to do that today because it's been a lot going on in my world, including building a brand new house, doing one of my biggest launches ever, winning an award that I never thought that I would enter, let alone win, running a retreat, hitting a milestone on Instagram. So much stuff has happened in about the last 6 to 8 weeks that I thought it might be interesting to share with you. I hope this episode can be a little bit inspiring, a little bit just slightly interesting. I know I always like to sticky beak on other people's lives and hear what they've been up to and what they've been doing and why they've been doing and how they've been doing, and just going to give you my unfiltered opinion on lots of different things, including running retreats, including building a house, including having biggest launches, winning awards, and all those things. So let's dive in. I'm not really sure where to start, but I'll start with the house because that's the most obvious thing to me at the moment. So for the last, pretty much this whole year, towards the end of last year, we started building our dream family home, which was really exciting. We never thought we'd build a house. It was never on our bucket list, but a block of land appeared back in 2021, just pretty much across the road from our old house. And it was the perfect block. It was huge, but it was close to town. It had established trees and so many birds, but also enough space to be able to build a beautiful home on it. And also for my husband to build sheds and have his team come over because he has his own business as well. And I was like, you know what, let's just do it. And so we were lucky enough to be able to purchase that block. It was an auction and it was very scary. Thankfully, we had some help. And it took a long time to get plans drawn up, to get council approval, to get bushfire. It was a whole thing. And then it finally happened. It was a lot of, a few things went wrong. But during the build, most things have gone right. Except for some tiles. They held us up for a month or so. But other than that, it is such a beautiful home and I'm feeling wildly blessed. I cannot believe I own a house that is this gorgeous, and just the fact that we own a new house. Our old house was built in who knows when, and we're just feeling so blessed and so I don't deserve this kind of house, but we're hoping to, I'm so excited to have this new office, and I'm hoping to host people and just have a home that people can feel loved and welcome in is my dream. So it's been really fun, and obviously as a mum and a wife, I'm just chomping at the bit to be able to set this up as our little family home and create all the different spaces and store everything and sort everything and just do all the things that I love to do, and I know lots of others love to do as well. So feeling really excited and realizing how much storage things cost. I've been going to Kmart and thinking, I'll get a couple of boxes to put things in. $200 later wasn't what I thought I'd be spending my money on right now. Anyway, that aside. So hopefully we're just going through final approvals and bank things, and then it'll be ours in probably, it was meant to be by today or so, but hopefully in a couple of days, which is really exciting. So hopefully I've batch recorded a couple of episodes after this one, but in about 3 episodes, I reckon you're going to see me set up in my new office, which is really, really, really exciting. I don't know exactly how I'm going to set it up yet. This will be my backdrop mostly, but I've got some beautiful curtains here. So do I have that as a bit of a backdrop, or do I have do I sit forward in the room, or do I sit really back in the room? Obviously going to be adding in purple everywhere. Duh. That's exciting. So I think that's pretty much the house front. We've had a great experience building with our builder, Andy Salick. So Salick Family Homes, if you're in the Bendigo region, highly recommend. And it's been so great. And obviously we've got so much to do after this. We've got all the landscaping to do because right now it's mostly mud. Can't believe this is our home. Anyway, that's the build update. I'll have to give you a tour one day, and I'll give you, once my office is set up, I'm going to give you an office tour, kind of showing you through all the different products and the different ways I've set things up to make sure it's really great for recording in too, because that's obviously a lot of what we do now. All right, so let's move to the next thing that's happened. So for years, I have wanted to re-record my course, DIY Design My Biz. It's the course that I started 6 years ago now, almost exactly. And it was created to be like a little course for business owners to be able to make their own branding and graphics in Canva. And I love it. But pretty much just as a brief history for you, I did a live launch of that back in whatever 6 years ago from now is. I did a live launch of that, went really well, did a couple more live launches, then I turned it into what's called Evergreen, where I batch recorded everything rather than running the lessons live. I recorded it all out. Did that while my first was in my tummy. She's nearly 5. And then that course has been sitting there, been getting sold for the last couple of years, and it's been amazing. And people have been getting incredible results. But I knew that Canva has been changing, Instagram has been changing, business has been changing, design has been changing, although design is probably the least changed thing in all of this. And I wanted to redo the course because new things had come in that would make everything more helpful for my students. So I've been wanting to redo this course for so long, but you don't have the time. I've got, for some context, in case you're new here, I've got two littlies. I've got an almost 5-year-old and I've got an 18-month something year old. You don't really get a lot of time to sit down and batch record like hours and hours worth of content. And so I'd put it off. But finally I was like, you know what, we just need to bite the bullet. I was feeling this internal pull of not wanting to promote the course anymore because I was like, it could be better. It could be better. I want to make this better before I share it more. And if you're not sharing the course that you have as one of your main income streams, then you're not making much money. So I was like, I need to actually get onto this. So I remember setting aside a full day, which isn't common in my life right now, a full day to just work. I took myself to the library. They have one of those little sound pods there, and I sat inside that sound pod for a full day and mapped out the entire course outline. And I set aside some more days as that approached to kind of pull together as that approach meaning as my recording day approached, because obviously I had to sit down and record everything. So I planned it all out, kind of sat down and made all the slides and got my team to help with formatting the slides. And then I rented a studio for a day at the Emporium Hub in Bendigo, and that was good. It was such a big day. We started at 9ish and we didn't finish till 6, and we're pretty much recording nonstop apart from lunch for then. And it was hectic and I was so dead. But thankfully one of my designers, my head designer in the studio, Vanessa, she came and helped me for the day. So thank you, Vanessa. And yeah, we recorded the whole course except for module 8, because module 8 is pretty much a set of tutorials. And so I do them on my computer at home rather than doing them in the studio. Plus there's a few more tutorial-esque things in the whole course. So I did them at home too, but I did all the studio recordings then. Then I popped all those recordings and put it on a hard drive and sent it to my video editor, who is currently in the US for 6 months. And so I sent them to him and he started editing them all. And while he was doing that, I had to start putting together the rest of the course. So recording all the extra tutorials, which there was tons of those. Then as he started to drip through the video edits, I had to then proof those and then make any tweaks to them and then start making the actual course materials. So for each module, I didn't want to give like a random video. I wanted it to be really helpful for people. So I ended up doing like this whole, it's really great, ask me about it sometime. I made, and if you're in the course, you'll know how good it is. I made a Canva document as the worksheets. So they were fillable. I added in, like, I did a multi-page design. So it had like a cover on it, Canva docs, and then it had templates all built into this one Canva file. So they get like this big Canva file per module. It's got a summary of everything they've learned. It's got checklists, it's got games, it's got templates, all in this one little pack. I'm so proud of it. Anyway, they took forever to make, obviously. And so I was working on those and I had to just put across, like, I've been staying up to midnight almost every night for the last at least month or two. And it's been a lot, but I'm happy to say that the course is this close to being finished. I've done everything, like all the learning modules are there. People have been joining over this last month and they've been loving it, but there's just the last few tutorials to do, which I'm hoping to finish this week, which is hopefully by the time you're watching this. All my fingers are crossed. Anywho, so that's kind of how that's gone. And so pretty much about a month or so ago, I started launching that course, because obviously it's good, one thing to have a course, it's another thing to actually launch it. So while I was doing all this re-recording and restructuring and making all these worksheets and workbooks, well, the rain started. I don't think you can hear it, but we have a tin roof now. I'm so excited I can hear the rain. And yeah, so if you want to sell a course, you have to actually sell the course. So I launched a freebie, launched a masterclass, and then did my cart open for the course, which is pretty much where my course goes on sale. Because the cart's always open. You can join it right now if you want to. You should do that. It's really good. My point being is that while I was trying to re-record all these things, I was also in launch mode. So I was launching a freebie and a masterclass. Thankfully, I had already created for my last launch, but I redid those, running ads towards those, which cost me a lot of money, but they performed really well. Like, I'm so incredibly proud of how those ads performed. I don't think it was anything I did, to be honest. I shouldn't be proud, but they did really well. It was like less than $1 sometimes cost per lead, which was quite good, which means that someone would join my lead magnet and then they might sign up to my masterclass and might sign straight up to the masterclass. And I ended up having over 2,000 people, 2,000 human beings signed up to my masterclass, and they came and joined me. Not everyone could come live, obviously, but we got a lot of sales. It ended up being my second best launch in terms of number of students. That's compared to my first launch. So my first launch, I got 55 new students in. This launch here, I got 50 new students in, which was absolutely bonkers. So honored and blessed that all those people are trusting me to help them with their business. I actually got to see a lot of them today on our live group calls we have each month, and they were just saying how great it was, which was really, really reassuring when you're just put all your effort for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours into a course that they actually are saying is really good. So that was really nice. Anyway, I digress. And then because I've actually raised the price from when I first launched it back in 17 or whatever it was till now, it was my biggest revenue launch of the course, which is really exciting and made it feel a bit better for all the effort I'd put into it. So I'm really excited now. My next step is to get that turned on to what's called evergreen. So it will run on Facebook ads to cold audiences, and they'll get sent to the masterclass, and then they can watch the masterclass and then join the course. So a bit of a back end behind there for you. And so the goal of that is that I can be selling a few courses per week and start to have some revenue coming in for my business and to pay me back for all the hours we've spent with me and the team creating those to begin with. Plus it's really cool to see people being actually helped and being able to design their own branding and graphics themselves. Anyway, so that section, so relaunch the course, had one of my best launches ever. I actually can't work out if it's the best launch ever or almost the best launch ever, because I've also launched another program called the Co-Creation Design Club, but that costs more, so I had to get less students in, but I think they're pretty much on par, which is really cool. And then to two other main things I want to talk about, with also a couple of little things. I have to really leave soon and pick up the kiddos from mum and dad's. She said, come at 4. It's currently 4 and they still live 15 minutes away. So I need to hurry this thing up, but I also had so much I want to share with you. So the next thing I want to share with you is my win of an award. So just to preface this, I don't know if you feel like me, but I am just an everyday small business owner. I just run my little business from my home office, started out in my bedroom, and I didn't really feel like a real business. I just felt like me running things, being a freelancer. And I guess my business has changed a lot in the last couple of years. I've gone from just being a freelancer to hiring a full-time staff. I've gone and part-time staff and not casual. Yes, well, the part-time is casual actually, no part-time, just casual. And then lots of freelancers as well, contractors. I think I've got like almost 10 people working for me now, which is absolutely wild. And so I think somewhere in my brain shifted to thinking that I could apply for these kinds of awards now because, you know, like, I don't know, like just being a little solo person at home, I didn't feel like I was a real business. But if you're watching this and you're a solo person at home running your own business, you are a real business. And it was really cool for me to just have that moment click for myself. And so what I ended up doing was applying for a business award. So Bendigo where I live, has this thing called the Bendigo Business Excellence Awards, sponsored by Bendigo Bank. And I decided I'll apply to that. I got nominated. I don't know who nominated me. If it was you, please come forward. I want to thank you. It's just so cool to think that someone in the world thinks that you're worthy of winning an award. And so I ended up going through the application process for that. Now, there's something to know about this. This isn't just a put your name forward and they'll just have a look at Instagram and think, yep, that business is worthy. This is a process, my friends. So summary, you get nominated. Then you can have the option to then apply. Now, when you apply, it is not just like a answer 3 questions about your business. It is like, I should get it up actually, hold on. Okay, so pretty much I'm looking at my Google Doc of my awards application, and I actually applied for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 awards. Thankfully, a couple of the questions overlapped, a couple of questions didn't, but I have 30, I'm gonna just briefly show you. I have 30 pages of stuff here. 30 pages, and I don't think that's of any of the overlapped questions. No, none of the questions are overlapped there. Those are 30, oh my goodness. So that's what the awards going in for that. Then thankfully I did use ChatGPT, which we were allowed to do, to help me. I kind of, just for a tip for you, if you're ever writing awards and you're just doing it by yourself, I gave ChatGPT all of the criteria and I said, interview me as if you're my awards answer writer, application writer. And so it did that and it wrote me some really great answers. And then I went through and changed pretty much most of it, but it gave me a really great stepping. And then I obviously got my mum to proofread it because I'm really bad at proofreading my own things. And then I submitted it. I kid you not, at 11:55 p.m. when applications closed at midnight, 5 minutes early. Yeah. Anyway, what happened is that as a result of submitting that application for 5 awards, 5? No, that was 4. One of them was the general. So general wasn't really an award. That was just the general answers. And then I submitted for 4 awards. I got finalisted for 3 of, I got finalisted for 3 of those. 3. They had hundreds of applications and me and my little business got finalisted for 3 of them. And when I say finalisted, I mean, hopefully you know what I mean by that word, because I became a finalist for. There was only, like in one category, there was only 3 of us as finalists, and in the other categories, there was 6 of us as finalists, or 5. One of them was 3, one of them was 5, and one of them was 6. I cannot believe that. I kid you not, I remember I was at swimming lessons when I got the email. I was watching my daughter sitting next to a dad that I'd barely spoken to before, and I saw an email come through that said, you're a finalist, and I was like, I have to be reading this wrong. I even showed the dad next to me saying, can you just double check that that's what this says? Because this is blowing my actual mind. And then the next email came through, and then the next email came through saying I was a finalist for 3 of the categories from hundreds of applications. Well, me. Anyway, honored. So honored. And then after that, not the end of the process, my friends, after you're finalisted, and I shouldn't have won, I then have to go to in-person interviews. So every category, you have to have a 20 minute to half an hour interview in person with 3 or 4 judges. I reckon there was 3. And so I had to go through 3 in-person interviews for each category I was a finalist in and answer all these questions. I had to have a presentation prepared, had to share about my business and my journey and what makes me special and why I should win that award. And then I had to wait a few more weeks. And then we go into this ginormous awards ceremony. I'll try to put some photos on the screen if I remember. And in there was like, I think there was 776 people, like a lot of people in this, like hundreds of tables and circles. And anyway, and then the first category goes past, didn't win, didn't expect to win any of them, though, to be honest. Next category goes and they call my name. They call White Dealer. I was just shocked. I walked up on the stage crying at this point because I was like, how is this even real life? Got to share my little speech. Thankfully, I was prepared. Shout out to my coach, Ellie Swift, for reminding me to write a speech. I was like, I'm not going to win. I don't need to do a speech. And she's like, Jacqui, a good business owner would prepare a speech. So I prepared a speech, again, thanks to ChatGPT. And yeah, did the award and it was incredible. Got to have interviews with a local radio station and got to have photos and yeah, it was pretty cool. I think I also got a few clients from it as well, which is really exciting. So hi, if you're one of the clients that came because of the awards. And then I wanted to really, just as a bonus tip, if you're going to win any awards or be a finalist, amp it up as much as you can. I wanted to make sure I shared this on my social media and made sure my audience knew that we won this award. Like, how cool is that? And I stole this idea off my coach, Ellie Swift, as well. She was a finalist in an award and she did a giveaway on the back of it. Once the winner was announced, she was like, we're doing a giveaway, comment on this thing, and then you can win access to one of my programs. And so I did that same thing for DIY. And so it meant that it meant that I made like a little reel of me winning, and it meant that post got circulated so much more than if I just had done it on my own. And so I got to give away 2 places into my DIY course, which was really fun. And it meant that I got some traction. So just from a business perspective, trying to like make the most of winning an award, that was something that I was able to do too, which was fun. I still need to put like a little banner on my website being like, winner of the Bendigo Business Excellence Awards. The category I won, by the way, was called Small and Succeeding. So that was for if you have a business with 1 to 2 employees or 2 or more employees, somewhere around there. And you're small and succeeding, which apparently was me, which was such an honor. I loved that interview too. The judges were so lovely. And they were, yeah, so that was really fun. Okay, so that's me winning the award. I'm just going to check my notes to see what I wanted to speak to next. I am almost done, I promised. But something else that happened this last month was I ran a retreat, like a real in-person retreat. Absolutely wild again. And do you know what? I have never actually attended an in-person retreat. I've seen them online on an Instagram, but I had the audacity to run a retreat having never been to one. I have been on camps and I've led camps before, like with my youth church camps and stuff. And so I knew how to facilitate. I knew how to run Zoom lessons. I knew how to be a friendly person to come away with on a trip with, but to run a retreat, never done that before. So, and to be at one, never done that either. And so that was really fun. It was, to be honest, it was really tricky. A few things were tricky about it. One, I ran it with my friend Hazel. That wasn't the tricky part. Hi, Hazel. She was really great. She's a marketing coach. And so we kind of ran this retreat that was all about branding and marketing, kind of stepping into your next era. And it was really amazing. Promoting it was really tricky. We're obviously 2 people that are quite good at promoting things, but we waited until quite last minute to promote it because it took us a while to get our ducks in a row. It just took us a while to get our ducks in a row. We made like a whole new brand for the retreat. We had to book the retreat location, which we did in Daylesford, Victoria. It was beautiful, beautiful, beautiful venue. And then we waited too late to promote it. So most of the people that wanted to come were already booked out or couldn't make it. And so it made promoting it quite tricky. We ended up getting 4 incredible ladies along. We were hoping for a few more, but the 4 that we had were wonderful. Like it was such a great time. But I tell you what, it was so exhausting. I'm so glad I had Hazel there. I had my mum come to look after my 18 months old because he's still breastfeeding. And so I couldn't like just leave him at home for the whole weekend. So he came with me. My mum came with me. But at that point, he didn't really love her. So mum had to take him away. And then I had to have him the other times. And it was a whole thing, but it was really great. But it was really exhausting. Like we were just so dead by the end of it. Because being on all the time, trying to facilitate and make sure everyone's happy and everyone's getting looked after and everyone's learning what they need to be learning. And to be honest, we probably packed a little bit too much into the time. We just wanted to make the most of our 2 nights there. So we went, in hindsight, if we were to run another retreat, we're going to make it a lot more slow paced and maybe have learning in the morning and just relaxing and implementation in the afternoon. But we just wanted to fit so much in. Anyway, it was a great time and a really interesting experience. And running it with Hazel was amazing. Meeting the ladies that we worked with, like some of the ladies have been in my programs before, and it was so great to be able to meet them in person. So yeah, that was really lovely. But again, totally new experience and totally interesting and wild. And so one more thing I think that I want to tell you is just I finally hit a milestone on Instagram. I don't know if you remember, but when Instagram first started, if you wanted to share a link on your Instagram stories, you had to have more than 10,000 followers, and it was a little swipe up feature, and you had to swipe up from the stories and it would open up the link. That feature was a big goal in my mind. I wanted to have this link feature. And so from when I first started Instagram in the first few years, I was like, let's get 10,000 followers. Let's get 10,000 followers. Well, my friends, last month I finally hit 10,000 followers after, let me tell you how many posts. Look, because people think this should happen quickly. And sometimes it does. But for me, I've posted over 1,700 posts by the time this happened, 1,700 Instagram posts. Let that sink in. And that took me, I think, about 10 years to do as well. So growth hasn't been fast, but it's been worthwhile. And if you are in the early stages of business or in the early thousands, keep on going. You'll eventually get there. And I'm hoping that growth comes a little bit faster. Biggest growth hack for you, just as a brief thing, posting consistently and ads. And doing reels and doing great content. That's one thing. But also I hands down get most of my followers when I run ads. So if you want if you want the actual realistic tip, running ads to my lead magnet time webinar, that was what got me the most followers on Instagram. So feel free to look into Meta ads or Facebook ads, which are the same thing, if you want to kind of grow even quicker than you currently are. And so that's a bit of a recap. I was going to bring in some more stuff around what I've learned and stuff, but I think I've kind of weaved those in. What's really made all of this possible is the transitions I've been taking my business on over the last few years. Like, it hasn't just been, bam, everything success. It's been such, like that Instagram thing, such slow, intentional growth. And so for me, as a mum of 2 kiddos who only really gets Tuesdays to work, I have committed to working every evening. I was talking to my friend and I was like, I watch TV once a week on a Saturday night. She's like literally only once a week. And I was like, yes, literally just once a week, because every other evening I'm working, and every other time during the day I've got kids with me. And so pretty much I'm working every single nap time, every single evening, because I want to grow my business. I want to work on this. This is a dream of mine at the moment, and I want to make it work. But equally, a dream of mine is to be a mum. And so instead of having my kids babysat all the time, I've chosen to look after them most of the time and then work in the times where I don't have them, which is in the evening. And so I've been growing and working really hard to make that happen, is from one point. And the second point has been, I've been really strategically delegating. Obviously, you'll see these podcasts coming out every week. I've also got tutorials that come out every week on YouTube. If I was having to be the one that edits and promotes and posts all of those things, I can guarantee you that I would not have been able to rewrite my course. I would not have had time to write my application for the business awards. I would not have had time to keep on posting to Instagram or make my Meta ads or do all these different things that have resulted in the growth that I've had, because I have been able to delegate. And so I've done a whole episode on my team and how that all works. But I have a video editor, I have a content repurposing manager, I have a designer, I have someone that helps me with my community, I have someone that helps co-coach with me, I have 3 studio team designers. And so between all of those people, I have enough support that I can focus on the things that I'm really good at, which is recording content and coaching my clients and doing the marketing and the creation of the different parts of my business. And so I think that's been really important too, just having that ability to be able to expand, because I have committed to the different things that mean that I can expand. And so yeah, I think that's all I want to share with you. I just wanted to give a really not vulnerable, but a really raw kind of update on how everything's going. I'm feeling so blessed. Obviously, I'm really looking forward to finishing off my course so that I can relax just a little bit, maybe go to bed at 10 p.m. rather than midnight, and move into this house. That's my next job, is setting up this whole place and making it our new home. So yeah, thank you for being here on this journey. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode. I hope it's just been a little bit of an insight into the life of a business owner, and I hope you can take some little tidbits out of that if you want to. And otherwise, I just hope it was interesting enough listen for you that you don't feel like you've wasted half an hour or whatever this has ended up being of your time. Thank you for being here. If you're not a part of my world on Instagram yet, feel free to head over there. I share a lot more of this kind of stuff over there. So my handle is whitedeargd, and you can jump over and say hi. If you do, message me on Instagram straight away and say, hi Jacqui, I just listened to that episode 232, and you sharing some stuff. I would love to connect with you. And just now that I know that you've listened to that episode, I'm like, oh, you've got so much context. Tell me about you. And also, anyway, I digress. I need to leave, pick up the kiddos. But yeah, thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. And yeah, I'll see you next time.